Namaskar and welcome back to KSP Knowledge Hub, where we break down big economic stories and explain what they mean for India's future. Today's topic is a game changer, a historic India US trade deal that signals a major shift in bilateral trade and tariffs. India and the United States have been key trading partners for decades. The relationship grew steadily through commerce, defense cooperation, and tech. However, trade has not always been smooth. Between 2024 and 2025, the US imposed high punitive duties on Indian goods. At one point, duties on many Indian products reached as high as 50%, significantly hurting exports from India. This elevated tariff environment caused Indian exports of food, agriculture, and processed goods to drop sharply. For example, Maharashtra's food and agri exports to the US fell nearly 27% in late 2025. So, until recently, trade was more competitive than collaborative, exporters struggled, and negotiations dragged on. But in a breakthrough phone call between Prime Minister Modi and US President Trump, the two leaders agreed on a new framework. The key highlight: the United States announced a cut in tariffs on Indian goods from 50% to just 18% immediately. This major reduction improves Indian price competitiveness in the US market significantly. At the same time, India has signaled cooperation on certain US concerns, including a reduction in Russian oil imports. India will also increase purchases of American goods like aircraft, defense, and energy products. This does not yet look like a full free trade agreement, but it sets a strategic framework for deeper engagement. Let's interpret what this actually means. Lower tariffs mean Indian exporters are now more competitive in the US market. This applies especially to textiles, garments, engineered goods, seafood, and many other key sectors. Reduced punitive duties signal a return to cooperation over confrontation in our economic relationship. Indian markets responded positively. The Nifty 50 index and rupee strengthened immediately on news of the deal. This reset reopens one of India's largest export destinations and gives Indian producers a price advantage. But it's essential to recognize this is a first step, not a complete trade agreement like we see with others. A big question has been: will agriculture, dairy, or sensitive products be affected? Sector interests will be protected. India is conscious of balancing economic growth with domestic farmer interests in all trade negotiations. In return, the agreement opens pathways for increased US agricultural and industrial exports to India. This tariff reduction can restore confidence for Indian exporters, especially in MSMEs and traditional sectors. It can lay the foundation for a more comprehensive trade agreement in the future, reducing barriers even further. It may boost foreign investment as US companies see India as a more favorable and strategic trade partner. However, experts also warn that the deal's terms are still being finalized and implementation will take time. This moment represents a transition from tariff tensions to tariff diplomacy for both India and the US. If this video gave you clarity and insight, make sure to like, share, and subscribe to KSP Knowledge Hub. Tell us in the comments which sector will benefit the most from this tariff reduction. Your thought matters. Thank you for watching KSP Knowledge Hub. Stay informed on trade, markets, and policy. See you soon.